Hey, what's going on, everybody? I want to take this time out, if it's 10, 15, 20 minutes, and talk a little bit about who Peter is, because I've talked a lot about what the market's doing. I have a lot of videos you can see across my YouTube of what exactly I do as a real estate agent when I'm talking to clients, what you should do as a investor, what you should do as a home buyer, what you can do as a home seller. However, I haven't spoken about who I am, so you have no idea context-wise who Peter is and what I do outside of this, and where I live, and what my family looks like. So this is a quick take on who Peter is, why we reside where we reside, and what we looked for when we were looking for our home, and specifically to us. So first off, Peter, I've been doing real estate I've had my license for like 7 years, but I didn't really start using it until about 5.5 years ago. And then I really ticked it up and started using it a lot. I bought some rentals back in 2013. So I'm very familiar with that, have a lot of experience on the investing side. Who I am outside of this, though, is I'm a husband. I have a wife. We've been married for 6 years, and it's great. Met my best friend, soulmate, and a person that honestly I can spend the rest of my life with. It's amazing. So she's the truest, most pure person that honestly I've met and talked to on a relationship basis, in a relationship and a person. So it's amazing to spend my life with her. We've been together for 10 years, and we ultimately stayed in Orange County for the past, since we started dating, which was about 9 years ago, roughly about 9.5 years ago. And we stayed in Orange County because, for one, we love Orange County. There's a lot of things, a lot of pluses and everything else to Orange County. But outside of that, there's a lot of different aspects that we can have entertainment. We can do all this other stuff. We also have a very, very young son as well. And he's great. He's something that's changed our lives as well. So we're able to really dive deep on all these different things, with now having a son and having him in the mix, which is a fun thing. So we bought our place down in Mission Viejo, and a couple of reasons. So we're in Orange County, California. I've lived here for over 10 years as a person from outside of real estate to, I used to be a fireman full time, and I did real estate on the side. And then I grew real estate to the point that there was a crossroads of what to decide: either stay with real estate and do that part time and then be a full-time fireman, or transition. So I made that transitional move and took on real estate full-time. So I was able to fortunately build up a business, and a solid business, before I left. But we always stayed in Orange County because we felt like it was kind of home. There was a lot of things that we liked about Orange County, things at our fingertips, things that we thought were really cool and neat about Orange County. And we live in Mission Viejo, so it's a little farther south than central Orange County. And Orange County as a whole has a ton of different communities. If you look on a map, and you can see it here, I'll pull it up here for you. But if you look on a map, you have anywhere from North Orange County, that's in Brea, to Huntington Beach, all the way down to South Orange County, which you have, San Juan Capistrano. It borders San Diego, Dana Point. You have Laguna Beach into Rancho Mission Viejo, and on into Rancho Santa Margarita, which is very east against the foothills. However, we picked Mission Viejo. I feel like it's still somewhat central, but it's a little bit farther south than central. So if you look at a map, and you can see it here, You have Irvine pretty much centrally located if you're north Irvine. That 55 kind of slices Orange County, the top of it and the middle of it, in half. And that kind of gives you the lay of the land, at least here. And you could see where Mission Viejo is. It's about 20 minutes south from the airport, and it's a good community. They have a ton of parks, all that other stuff. But we picked that place, which I feel like still has the ability to get you where you need to go without a ton of traffic. And you can also, without that traffic, or with that traffic or without it, you can stay within the community and still have a ton of stuff to do, from, just going to the parks that they have, to they have a huge lake as well. So that was the reason that we picked it. We were able to just jump on the freeway and get to, the airport. We can get back up to Newport Beach. We can get back to Irvine, where we used to live. And we could honestly still get into the Inland Empire, which is where my parents live. So it's a quick and easy route, and it's not too far south to the point that you have to go to another freeway to get across to Temecula, or take that freeway to Temecula and then up to the Inland Empire. So we're still able to utilize like the 5 and the 405 to make it a little bit easier for us. And the other reason, so that was number one. Number two is it's a very established community. And what I mean by that is, like I said, they have parks, they have you can pay into an association for Mission Viejo. So you can pay into outside of your HOA, or where you live on a condo or a single family. You can pay a small amount, about $300 or $350 a year, and get access to the Mission Viejo Lake, and that stays with the property as well, which is huge. That was another added benefit, especially knowing we were going to have a baby. So we could go enjoy those types of amenities. And that lake is older, so it's well established, and there's older architecture too. So I don't know, for a lot of people, if you look at a new constructed property, something that has been constructed in the last 10 years, it's a little bit harder, depending on how the builder built it, to adjust that architecture. But if you're looking at something that's older, 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s even, you can adjust the architecture a little bit more to make it more aesthetically pleasing. And that's not everywhere. There's a lot of condos and townhomes that they're building that are 3 stories, and we're not in one of those. And those are built together, so they're very tight. You can't change exterior updates to make it where you're personalizing it. And that's no problem. We have, Rancho Mission Viejo that has that. We have a ton of other places that are like that. The reason we picked Mission Viejo, though, is the architecture was one of a kind, I feel. It has a little bit of influence of a Spanish style. However, it's more unique to Mission Viejo, where you do have that Spanish style, but there's also an influx of some beach feel of the architecture, which is nice too. And so you have the lake access, you have the architecture, you're able to kind of personalize the properties in the condo if you're in one, or a single family if you're in one, to your liking, and not be drawn back by more of the, I would say, quintessential new build look. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've helped a lot of people go into new builds, but at least in an older community, you're able to change those exterior aspects to make it look what you would like it to look like. You could even make it look to the point that it's a brand new build, or tear it down and build it up and make it look like a brand new build. And then the third thing, so that was number 2, the third thing, the safety aspect. So Mission Viejo is on 1,000 residents. So I'm just pulling this up on Neighborhood Scout. if you guys haven't looked at that, that can pull up your statistics for crime, real estate, economics and demographics, schools, and overall. So ours is 0.76 on a scale of basically 1,000. This is per 1,000 residents, and the national median is 4. So we're significantly below that. We're almost 3.5 times below that. In California, this is the makeup of California, is 4.4. So it's a little bit above the national median. We're significantly below that. We're less than a 1, and the national median is 4. So we're 3.25 below that, which is nice to know that we have some safety. We came from a safe community. For instance, we came from Irvine. So Irvine is very planned urban development, and there's a lot of HOAs, and they keep those properties very nice and neat. And that is, for instance, the same thing they kind of do down in, without the difference of each and every community, because Mission Viejo is kind of all one and the same, in the sense that if you go into a community, you know you're in Mission Viejo. If you go into Irvine, you know you're in Irvine, but you know you're in a certain section like Woodbridge, or you're in Woodbury, or you're in Airport area. You can kind of get a feel for different areas. And Mission Viejo is still very safe, still has that kind of planned urban development feel. However, that's a little bit older architecture, kind of like what I said about number 2. So that's why we picked that aspect of Mission Viejo is the safety. The safety is very key for us having a new child. That was when we were looking on the way. And then also, nice neighbors. When we went to go visit, just to look around at properties, everybody's waving to us. Everybody's saying hi. There's a lot of people engaging with us. So that's huge too. That's something that we really enjoy. And if you could see, and I'll show you here on the map, if you can see that where Mission Viejo is positioned, you can jump on the freeway, and then you have access to that lake and other amenities that are right here, that where as soon as you show up, those people that are at the store, at a restaurant, they're saying hi. They are very, very nice. And that's all of Orange County. However, we felt very comforted when we got to Mission Viejo and we were looking around, because we felt like that is amazing. That's something that you don't get all over the place. Doesn't matter if it's California or somewhere else. You don't get that everywhere. And we felt very at home when everybody was waving to us and saying hi and stopping us. Now when I go on runs, people literally stop me from the run to say hi or good morning, and make sure that I see them. So that's amazing as well. And then number 4. So number 4 for us was, it kind of goes back to the established community. However, they have a great school system, and we want to be able to look at a school system, for either public or private. So if you're looking at public, you want to be able to have a pretty solid school system that will provide a good education for kids. And having a kid, that was big for us, but making sure that the school system was going to, be up to par when we make that decision. Should we send our kid to a public school, or should we send them to a private school? So if you pull up greatschools.org, it gives you the actual cities and what it looks like for schools from elementary school, middle school, and high school. And with Mission Viejo, elementary schools are 9 out of 10s, middle schools, and this goes with being established and being within a community that is very established. So, and then 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. So they're still very high. And then high schools, you have all 8s out of 10. So you're still looking at very, very high school rating systems, because once again, we came from another very well-established area, which is Irvine, and Irvine has very high school ratings, and we want to stay within a high school rating area because when we make that decision, school is very important to us to make sure our kids getting provided the right information, and that information is key to his learning and his ability to grow. So we wanted to be within a parameter we felt comfortable with going forward. And there's a lot of schools in Orange County that have very, very high ratings, and Mission Viejo is one of them. So yeah, I'll put the link up here and I'll put them in the notes, but it's greatschools.org. And then I'll also put the link for neighborhoodscout.com as well, because I think that's key. Number 5. Okay, so at heart, I'm a real estate agent / investor, because that's where I got my license. I got my license because I wanted to be able to invest in properties and buy more rentals. And I was able to look around and look for deals that would come up that I believe were deals in terms of what the comparables were to what the AVR is. And I have a ton of videos that goes into this, so I don't want to sit here and talk about deals and how to analyze them, but we were able to find a property that was under market, and we were able to solidify a contract with that seller, me being the agent, and knowing that there's deals out there. You can find deals in newer constructed communities like Rancho Mission Viejo, Ladera Ranch. You can find deals there. You can find deals in Laguna Beach. You can find deals in Newport. You can find deals in Irvine. However, we felt like this was a good area. And then with the bones and the architecture, we felt like it was a great stepping stone to buy in this area, including all the other things that I mentioned here. That, in a nutshell, the 5 things was why we bought in Mission Viejo, why we live in Orange County, why we stayed in Orange County to grow our family and become more invested in the community, because we felt so comfortable with it, from people waving at us to the safety, to the schools, to, being able to have those things at our fingertips with the lake, and also the parks that are plentiful there. So hopefully this helps. I mean, I think giving some background and some context of who I am, because I come on here and I talk about all this other stuff, talk about real estate, talk about where you should buy, what you should do. That goes a certain length, but being able to tell you who I am, why we picked Orange County, why Orange County was great for us, and why we were, so super stoked on getting into a property in Orange County and feeling like it was the right fit. Even after everything was said and done, we closed on the property and we fixed it up and remodeled it, we still feel like it was a great added asset to our life, because we're not stressed out there. There's not aspects of the community or Orange County that stress us out. So we're super happy to be there and be in the community. So hopefully that gives you some insight on who Peter McKernan is. Like I said, I just want to also say I'm grateful for my wife and my son that they're both always supporting me and allowing me to be here to be at value for everybody watching and listening. Thanks so much. If you guys got any questions, please reach out to me. You can send me an email at peter at realtormck.com. You can also shoot me a message via text at 714-559-3422, and you can leave a comment below if you have any questions or anything like that, or you have questions about the area of Orange County where you're kind of looking, if you want some feedback on where's a good place to go, where's a place that's going to be close to food, restaurants, all that other stuff. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate everybody.